Usually, you have to understand, when a person is on this substance, they are no longer themselves. Hello, my name is Pej. I'm an interventionist. I specialize in helping people with drug addiction, alcoholism, or mental health, and their families. Today, we're going to talk about how to detect if somebody is struggling with methamphetamine, someone as a loved one, somebody that lives with you. I have been getting a lot of different calls from people that have a husband or a boyfriend or just a loved one that lives with them, that they constantly feel like they're trying to tend to them, trying to help them. They're seeing the person deteriorating in front of them, maybe job loss, maybe certain things are happening, maybe they're acting a certain way. And how do you actually talk to somebody that's in this type of position? So first and foremost, I am myself in recovery. I have been sober 16 years. I used to use a lot of different types of substances, but definitely meth was my demise. Luckily, I never encountered psychosis as a result of it, but what I am seeing more and more these days is people that use methamphetamine due to the types of chemicals that I believe are going into them, or also sleep deprivation and being malnourished makes people go into a drug-induced psychosis state of mind. So what do you do when you have the loved one that you really love, a person that you fell in love with, or even, you know, a sibling or a child that is caught up in that type of world? Often the things to look for, obviously, is how they're talking about, who they're talking about. Like if they're saying that they're paranoid, if they feel that they're being watched, people are out to get them, this is often a great indicator of meth use. Not always. I mean, there are some people that legitimately have just psychosis, natural psychosis, but a lot of times you'll hear things like my computer's being hacked. I believe that there's cameras that are being set up around my house or inside my house or in my walls or in my television or even in my car or at work. Many of these types of things, you have to ask yourself, I mean, if it doesn't make sense, if it's not sensible, why would somebody need to be watched? Like, why would someone be spied on? Are they doing activities to where feds are out to get them, or the CIA is out to get them? Are they breaking federal laws? I usually doubt a person that's living an everyday life is living that type of lifestyle, especially one that has a substance abuse problem. I think more they are doing the substances, they're staying up for long hours, and they start to go into a paranoid state and think that someone's out to get them. So how do you talk to someone that's in that mental state? Sometimes it's near impossible. Like, you can try everything you can say everything you can to them, but for some reason they're just not getting it. So you have to ask yourself too, are you providing a space where you're harboring this addiction and the person that's addicted to the drugs? Are you basically letting them live for free in a place where the reason they can't hold a job, they're now just living off of you, and they're being able to use certain types of substances such as methamphetamine and maybe other stuff alongside it too? That needs to stop. How do you get through to somebody and let them know that? I mean, usually you have to understand, when a person is on this substance, they are no longer themselves. They have been taken over by the substance, which in a sense could be, you know, metaphorically seen as a monster. And when the monster has taken over, the monster runs the show. So if you try to have sensible discussions with the person, or you feel for them, or you're catering to them, know that sometimes you're not actually catering to their true authentic self. Their true authentic self has been lost in the addiction. So you're catering to the monster, to the addiction, to the alcoholism, to, you know, the addict. And that's not something that you want to be doing, because then you are actually enabling. And I know a lot of people don't like to be confronted on the fact that they are enablers, but until they don't stop enabling, the person will probably not stop using. Once they actually can stop, then maybe that person's disease or their addiction will have to look for other options to try to nurture their addiction. So if you find that you are having a hard time talking to your loved one and not being able to get through to them, then it's always good to seek professional help. Now, I get a lot of phone calls from people that they are at their wits' end. They don't know how to help their loved one anymore. And so when they call me, we try to explore options. Usually I'll talk to whoever it is that's calling me to kind of paint a picture for me of like all that's been going on. How long has the person been using? How long has it been a problem? What kind of lifestyle does the person have? Do they have a secretive lifestyle? Do they live a double life, a triple life, a quadruple life? The reason I say there's so many different types of lives is some people may act a certain way in the workplace, but they may be a certain way in front of you. Then they might be a certain way in front of, you know, a lover, right? and then they might be a certain way in front of their friends, whoever they may be. So often when somebody is engulfed in addiction, they have to live certain types of lives in order to try to fit in with wherever they are. Now, some people, it's evident, you can tell that they have a drug addiction just by the way they look, they behave, the way that they act. A lot of times when they sleep for days and days to try to catch up on lost sleep because they've been up for days and days, these are great indicators to definitely know if somebody has an addiction problem, if somebody's even on meth. You know, you'll see that they can get very agitated, very edgy, very angry. They can get loud. They will say things that are nonsensical, that don't add up. They will say that people are out to get them. They'll make you the bad guy, the person that loves them so much. They will come at you from all different angles to try to manipulate you. And if they don't get what they want, they'll put all the blame on you for how their life isn't working. Or sometimes if they're open about their addiction, about you being the cause of them becoming the way that they are. This is, you know, in a sense I call it bulldozing. They will bulldoze over their loved ones. The person that loves them the most and wants the best for them, they will basically take everything that they can from you, and then when they don't get it anymore, then they will just try to tear you down and make you feel like you're the bad guy. And on your end, as a person that loves them, your codependency or, you know, a lot of your enabling habits is what's keeping this monster alive. It's basically putting fuel in the monster's fire. So that needs to stop. If you're really struggling with somebody that you love a lot and you don't know how to deal with it, you can always reach out to me. I would love to be able to have a conversation with you to try to explore options on how to help your loved one. You know, sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow. I never tell anyone to kick their loved one out, but it's a hard pill to swallow to tell someone that you're not going to agree with them. But I'm all about boundary building, and when you build a boundary, then you don't allow that person's monster that's within them to keep running the show and just tearing you down and making you have tons of sleepless nights or not knowing how to deal with this person's addiction. Leave it to the professionals. This is what we do. We're here to help you. My name is Pej. I'm the interventionist. You can always get a hold of me at 310-596-9356. Would love to be able to talk to you at some point.